So, on the grassy plain again, and have the Snaga finally met their match, because this time they are going to be up against the lesser Balrogs of Mordor. Now, this was a unit that I was surprised to see in the roster. They are essentially just beefier trolls. They look like something you'd find in the Chaos roster in Warhammer, actually. It's pretty intimidating, and they are, of course, in terms of stats, very, very scary looking. There are only 7 of them, though. So despite the fact they have like 10 hit points, we might be looking at the Nazgul effect, where there simply aren't enough of them. Oh god. No, no, no. So let's see how well they do. No, no, no. Attack them. Well, that was not a great start for the Snaga, and I'm not sure what to expect from these guys, honestly. They could do exceptionally well, or they could do quite poorly. They're certainly cleaving their way through the Snaga relatively easily. They are worryingly close to my main army though, so I should at least select these guys. Well, we shall see. My prediction would be around just a little higher than the Dalian Paladins. I just don't think there's enough of them. That's always the Troll's problem. I think eventually that will tell. But we'll see. I'd be very surprised if they managed to outperform in this real guard, because I just don't... 10 hit points is a lot, but there's also not many targets for the Snaga to unleash their wrath upon. So it could very well be... I don't think they'll do quite as poorly as the Shielded Fountain Guard, though. I have faith that these guys will not disappoint me in my hype. Look at this. They have really mown one of the units down already. This one over here is still relatively intact. Look at this. They're wielding like a giant Morning Star and a sword. I don't think they'll cause the game to crash though, simply because they are basically just chunkier trolls. Unlike their predecessor from vanilla, the regular Balrog of the Misty Mountains. He had some issues with regards to crashing the game, and there's already a few. I can't imagine it's a rather unenviable task to iron out the bugs with regards to stability in something like this, so slowly and surely one of the units is nearly dead, the other unit is still relatively intact though. Well, it's hard to say really how well they're doing, because as soon as one of them drops, then all of them are going to start to drop in quick succession, so really it's a question of how much damage the Snaga are actually doing, and it's hard to tell what that is. Oh dear, one just fell. No, please don't do as badly as the Shielded Fountain Guard. The hype was real. I know that with troll units you're really supposed to support them, but the Snaga do such piss poor damage. I was expecting at least 3 waves to fall to these guys, but if one of them's already keeled over, that's not good. Well, this unit is still 20 over the threshold for the reinforcement wave to come in. I do believe the Snaga will remain unchallenged for another day. Oof. They are scary looking things though. I imagine they'd crack through a shield wall in quick time. Oh, time for wave 2, and honestly if one of them's fallen, wave 2 might be the thing that does them in. We'll have to see. Yes, the wooden shields will serve you very well against the... Yeah, there goes another one. Yeah, this is gonna be it, I think. My. That is unfortunate. Trolls are not the monsters they once were in vanilla, certainly not. And again, they were like the only thing to have hit points in vanilla, so that's a thing. lesser balrog. Well, you know, they've still got 6 remaining. Proportionally, I guess they're doing not dreadfully, but certainly wave 3 will be enough. Well, yeah, this wave is probably going to be what finishes them off. What's this guy doing? Has he had enough? There are simply too many Snaga. They've been cut down. Oh my, they are dropping like flies. It's like the flood. There's their Nazgul captain. This guy is surely not long for this earth. Man, the general over here, forced to see his great beasts felled by the Snaga. The indignity of it. Just goes to show you have to use your units correctly. There goes another one. Otherwise you'll encounter something like this. Particularly in Reforged, they have rebalanced it quite a lot so that the trolls are no longer the destroyers of worlds they were, and sending them in unsupported like this, even against foes as terrible as the Snaga, will have disastrous effects on your army, because these guys are very expensive. They're 3,000 florins. So, certainly a high risk, but high reward, I imagine, unit. In this situation, of course, they weren't really being used to their full potential. But even so, I would have expected them to get past at least 3 waves of Snaga. Snaga that only cost 50 florins each. It's just the general left. I don't think he's going to get much in the way of kills. Especially not while he's stun locked. He's not routing though, I'll give him that. Is he? There he goes. So there we have it, the Snaga proving their worth emphatically over the lesser Balrogs there. And there they cheer. Well, let's see what the damage is then. 415. That is slightly less than the Shielded Fountain Guard, so another lesson learned with regards to the game balance. You cannot just throw in a very expensive monstrous unit, you need to support them. Doesn't matter what you support them with, really. I would say if you support them even with Snaga, then they will do a decent job, but if you allow them to be singled out, their hit points are going to be shaved off quickly, even by the lowest tier of units. So there we have it, the lesser Balrogs. Very impressive looking, but in this situation, all bark and no bite. So next we shall move on to a different, well, I guess we'll move on to another unit, one that I think will probably perform well. And we'll see what that is, but I hope you'll join me for that one as well.